Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have Talon, because he is the Smurf's jungler. Now at this time of season, for better or for worse, you have a lot of newer accounts, people stuck D1, D2, maybe even just, high enough LP and master that they just don't want to play anymore. And so they go new accounts, fresh accounts, they're trying to achieve new things or climb and, help their friends. And typically, Talon is one of the great ones to use because of the amount of pressure he exerts. Now, his win rate is not what it was back in the dark days of Gold Drinker Conqueror Talon, but we do have a Conqueror rune set for you in this game. Although, with the goated item Eclipse, maybe more on that item in a video on the main channel, I think we need to talk about this kind of stuff, that and War Mugs. Now, the benefit to doing this leashless Raptors, as you can see he's probably setting up to do, is that your bot lane can do some cheesing. And with Thresh buffed, not a bad idea, actually. Really not a bad idea. Especially seeing as junglers are still getting leashed heavily for... Ooh, here we go, you see. Junglers are getting heavily leashed on the bottom side when you're looking for that sort of Red Raptors Grump stuff, and if you're on that side and you want to kind of abuse a Tryndamere or something like this, yeah, it allows your bot lane and top lane the ability to play their matchups accordingly, and obviously try and get those first bloods. So we're going to start off here on the Raptors. Remember, my Zardo GG live companion jungle guides tailored to your specific champion, linked below as bot lane goes for the 2v2. Here we go. Keep trading, keep autoing Thresh, keep using the spacing, use the fucking wall, forcing the ward out, flash the Q from the Caitlyn, very good. Now she's taking a whole bunch of minion damage. This is the kind of stuff, she turns it for first blood. It's the kind of stuff you really want to watch. So it's kind of stuff you really want to watch while you're doing this. So if you're, practicing your clears and so on, make sure you track that kind of stuff. Watch what sums are burned, specifically from the enemy team. You can track the cleanse not being used by Caitlyn and so on, and you can always Raptors, Red, Gromp, and then look to exert pressure while your bot lane trades if this trade happens a little bit later. But if they take care of business themselves, it's absolutely fine. But more often than not, I have been ganking bot lane and trying to get them ahead, and they throw the lead. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You gank them twice, you gank them thrice, and all of a sudden, they lose, they shut down, the enemy jungler gets all the cash monies, and you're like, well, what happened? So just because your bot lane does this well does not necessarily mean that you are going to have a freebie. So keep snowballing the advantage that they've given you here. And look at Jarvan showing up here. You see this 12 CS, all right? Means he has that blue buff. He does the full blue side clear, 12 CS. We do a Raptors Red Wolves Grump to keep good Wolves Grump sequencing. Jarvan's not going on a cheeky invade. I don't know what his end game is here. Was he trying to invade a Talon on a 5 camp? That's not exactly the play. Really silly play by the Jarvan. Yadvin the slow, I should call him. Talon says, you know what? I'm going to E that wall and just go and use my Ignite and kill your support while you take my blue. And then I'm going to kill your ADC while you take my blue potentially. And, does he care that this is something that's being lost? No. Obviously, Jarvan moves on down to try counter gank. It doesn't actually take it, which at this point, you might as well just say, okay, I'm taking the blue, taking the crab. I'm going to go cross mid lane and double scuttle, or at least fall back to your red. I mean, we discussed this kind of play where you do this, and do this. Now what, right? Like, you have all of this available and open. It's silly to kind of trade a 20% reduced value crab for like all of these resets you can get, but we're here to talk about the Talon. However, great play. Doesn't focus on that blue buff, focuses instead on the core camps that will respawn at high value, doesn't need the blue buff because of the Grump, and goes straight to the bot lane to impact yet again, causes a huge snowball in his favor. How we play off of that is to be seen. Now, we are going to go and take this crab ourselves, because obviously these are down, no point going there whatsoever. We know this was taken by the Yadvin, and we're going to use great angles of approach. This is a Kayn thing, a Rek'Sai thing. I absolutely love when junglers do this, and this is why it's such a great Smurf jungle pick, because going around Vision, main channel, I just released a Vision video again, talking about the pathing you need to apply as a jungler in order to really thrive. What did I say? What I mean, it's so obvious at this stage. It's so obvious. Talking about how you really need to apply these vision concepts to your pathing so you can get these really cool angles. And Talon just allows so much. It's really sick. And the thing is, like Wukong, they nerfed his clear speed, because someone with this mobility for ganking and map rotations should not have that farming prowess. It just shouldn't be something that's allowed whatsoever. And they kept nerfing the clear speed on both of them, and they still are good for these reasons, Yes, you don't have the farming speed you had, but as you can see, it's more than sufficient. You get that threaded dirk. It's more than enough to absolutely Nice bonking auto attack there by the Tryndamere. It's more than enough to farm and gank and do what you need to do. And obviously, lane soak, pushing lanes, holding waves, really a good way to stand the game. We're 33 CS. Jarvan at this point is at 29. We're going to go back to base here because we have more components to buy. The Raptors have respawned. We don't really need to fall back to that. We could do Krugs Raptors should this be, you know, doomed, like the dudes in base, all that kind of stuff. But because it presents itself again, we just use our map rotations and then do the gank again. Jeremy hit 6 because 530 wave. Jarvan not really tracking that 530 wave. This is what I'm talking about. Junglers, he does die, okay, but we don't want to results-based it. When this 530 wave arrives, barring any sort of shenanigans, a dude should be able to get Sigs. And if you're trying to gank it as a level 4 jungler, suddenly you're going to be down 2 levels, and that's when, you know, Trinities and Renekton's love enemy junglers, and they just feast on their bones, and your whole team is angry at you. And then, rightly so, should be angry at you. Talon, in the meantime, says, you know what, I'm back to base, get some more longswords, get another control ward, take this, drag the camp, take this. Blessed. RNG Scuttle Thresh now level 4, Ashe level 4, up in CS though. So we did shut down, let's have a look at the gold. 2-5 to 2-2, basically just a dagger or almost a longsword in differential there. Obviously back timing will affect that. We see here the Talia and the Azir going original mid lane fistings and pokings. Azir. World's Azir for a reason. Strong champion. Jarvan says, you know what, I'm not going to borrow that crap. I'm going to rotate to the fight. Let me turn on the Talon here. He does have 6. We do have Ignite. That Ignite is a bit sussy in the bussy. I'm not sure we necessarily wanted to go for that one. And now we have to waste our ult. So, not the best use of ult, but of course, this is the challenger way. You kind of push the map, you push your advantages, you really push your champion's limits, and you try and turn PvP scenarios into your advantage. I love that we're not going for this, but we see a very brief showing of the Jarvan. If the Jarvan kind of shadows here, seeing you go up and thinks, hey, I'm going to go kill him on the red, which will happen. You know, it's better just to go Krugs, replenish yourself, and give up the red, you know, because this is something you can take, base, safe, it will respawn, and you get value. But as soon as we see the Jarvan do this, we know we have more than enough time with Smite coming up in 6 seconds to do that, plus red. So, again, those vision tips and tricks, and staring at the map coming in huge. This one specifically. Now, I mentioned the Pixel Bush, we talked all about the Pixel Bush gap, but I also talked about warding this, and tracking this one here because it allows you to see movement where people don't really check a lot. And someone commented, well, should I scan it? Yeah, you should. You know, you should scan it and check it. And when I'm doing dragons, I always put a ward here. I'll check this and hit the plants and scan and yada yada, but I will also very frequently check that bush, ward that bush. We see Jarvan going topside here. Tryndamere is low, he does have ult. Talon now, this is why he's a Smurf jungler. You see this in low elo. If you're any normal whatever jungler, you're not going to be able to get to the scenario. But if you're a Talon, you definitely can. We get dunked on. Tryndamere activates his ult, presses the W chicken, reduces AD. We kill the Yone before he gets to ult. Smurfing junglers love it. Smurfing junglers, it's almost a class in champion. Bleed damage. They love it when lower elo players make these kinds of plays. Now, obviously, this is a challenger level game, so they're not always going to make these mistakes. But if you can rotate to these scenarios and make those outplays against competent players, imagine what you can do with this kind of champion against platinums and diamonds. You know, don't really recommend it for anyone below that because it does require a lot more vision, understanding, pathing, precision, recognizing where you need to be, and not falling back to farming. Like, he's not falling back to farming, but as soon as you get a kill or someone's Grayscune or somewhere else, you take something. Translate that angle beautifully. You don't really have to think about it. Now we're going to get this Herald here. Azir showing up, obviously going to ult that. Jarvan's going to show up, go for the EQ so she can't take the Lantern, which of course is exactly what happens. Now we're going to keep going with the backline Lux there, and we have the Caitlyn here as well. And, you know, there's nothing you can do. But you don't really care when you are Talon because we are the 1v9 machine. Well, that did not go so well. However, then you look at it and you're like, well, I'm 4-0-1. Well on my way to an Eclipse. Don't care. And hey, look at this unfortunate wave mid lane. I mean, I guess I have to show up and snack some of that. There we go. Very nice. Are you on this, good sir? Can I collapse and maybe do something? See, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I see. That's why we ward as we go. That's why we scan as we go. Because if you do this and they see you, now they know where you are, and you don't know that they know where you are. And then it becomes a bit of a, well, you're in deep shit. So here he wards. The Jarvan obviously sees him. Talon knows, hey, dude gonna That's the dead Yarvin. There you go. Bone damage, tick, Iron Man fade away. Beautifully done. And we're really running away with it now. And 71 to 46 CS because we adapted our first clear to capitalize on the state of bottom lane. We used the Jarvan's positioning and ridiculous invade to take his Gromp, to take our Krugs, and to gank top lane twice, putting that on an advantage. Jarvan sees a low top lane, tries to capitalize. We rotate because we're Talon, and we can just parkour the walls and stop the Yone mid-ult, or at the start of his ult. All of this, my friends, is a cohesive jungle, be everywhere, Smurf jungler package. Do I think Talon's healthy for the game in this position? No. Do I think he's a problem in solo queue at the moment? Not at all, because his farming tempo, while still very, very good, isn't overpowered. You know, it used to be. And the point was, when nothing happened, you just farm. And what's funny is people playing Talon jungle for this, like this exact style, this mobility, for years, you know, even at the beginning of season 11, January 2021, I released a 1000 LP, I think 900 LP Talon jungle video on the main channel. Like, how is this guy doing this? And this was before any of the buffs came through. And it was just high-risk playstyle using exquisite pathing and using the PvP sense of Talon and the obnoxious nature of his simplistic, relatively kit. And he didn't really fall back to farming at all. He just always had to make sure those ganks worked. Now, of course, you can fall back to farming a little bit more, but when you can fall back to farming like he could all the way, not so good. There has to be risk in his ganks, in his movements. But if you're a smurfing jungle, obviously there's no real risk in it because 1, you know the mechanics, the walls. 2, you know your damage output. 3, you know how to path and play the mind games of vision control. We're gonna go in here, use our, I think we'll die from that though. That's okay. Assassins, 2 for 1, 3 for 1. Provided you're not, you know, really infusing like a really obnoxious champion. Okay, to Lee. Let's go. Almost. You know, as long as you're not really juicing and feeding someone, it's okay to kind of go 2 for 1, 3 for 1 early, provided you do then shut them down, right? You don't give doubles to the ADC and say, cool, 2 for 1, see ya, and then go top lane and mid lane and never go back and then wonder why your bot lane are angry. Don't do that. Not salty. Doesn't happen where my jungler does that. Ever. Too much. Too much, my friends. Too much. But then when I'm jungle and you're like ganking from here and you're like, hey, bot lane, I'm coming. They go in and die 2v2 and they're like, jungle warrior, I'm like, I'm walking, man. I'm not Talon. I'm not Hecarim. And that's why Talon's great for this. Especially low elo when they have no idea how to set up ganks for you. You know, like, well, they're overstaying here. We're going to go for the backline. Their flash doesn't really matter because the animation damage goes through. Ashe is such a great ADC. If you're loading ADC, load Ashe. The slows, the kiting, and so on. Let's pop that a little bit back so we have time to catch this wave and wait for the next one. The nice juicy push, 2 to 3 plates, exactly what we need. Azir pushing this one, 2 to 3 plates, exactly what we don't need. And the coin flip rage blades in the top lane. Don't care. Hello, Jarvan. Level 8 against a level 9 Tryndamere. Sorry, level 11 Tryndamere. I am not sleeping enough. I can tell you that. I wanted to make a main channel video, but I'm struggling with sort of like, I have to change the way I do things. Sorry to say, like the video is going to stay the same, the topics, the concepts, but you know, the way it's packaged just has to evolve because I'm not getting the clicks. So I'm trying to think of ways to make more bite-sized content, you know, more 8 to 11 minutes or maybe 11, 12 minutes, and just kind of invoke that, the meta YouTube titling system that still gives you the educational curiosity, but the content will stay the same, you know, the good old-fashioned information for you. Okay, you want to be careful about the vision here because obviously if they've chained, like this is excellent chaining, you see? 1, 2, like there are little gaps for sure, but you'll see this, you'll see this approach, and you'll see this, so it's not perfectly chained where there's sort of no gaps in vision, but there's enough vision where you can really tell exactly where he's going, and from this you can play your strategies. And you can path accordingly, right? So we see this. Did we actually see that? Didn't even know. So we're gonna do the wolves here. Yeah. He hugged the edge of the wall, and that's why type pathing is so crucial, sorry. That's why type pathing is so crucial, because if you don't know it's warded in any particular situation, just hugging walls away from where you want to go, just in case there's vision, is huge. Right, Ghostblade Rush, obviously. Killip's second, obviously. You can't go vice versa, but the Ghostblade is just so damn good, so cost efficient. Against your Nidleys and so on. I haven't seen Umbral Glaive lately a lot. I understand it's not as attractive as it used to be, but should you be against things like Nidleys, I do still kind of like it, but Ghostblade is just 99.99% of cases, you're always going to have success with it. But stop going Gold Drinker on certain champions. Now, I know it's Conqueror, Ghostblade, Eclipse Talon. It's not Gore Drinker Talon, which means you can kill him. And again, he has like 60 to 70%, I can't remember the exact number, less clear speed potential with the bonus damage. But the item, the shield, the cooldown, the Omnivamp, the passive, really absolutely nutty. Here we go. Ghostblade activated. We're going to do this. We're going to get stunned there and rooted, but it doesn't matter because they're dead while we just stand still. Lantern away. Thresh being meta is so annoying for people who don't play it. Remember, you can ward that Lantern, yeah? Put the ward on the Lantern. Can't click it. Save lives. Buy control wards and just save one for that reason if you don't have one from your Sightstone. It just makes it so that they cannot click it, they cannot escape, and you can actually kill people. It's really a trick that, because Thresh has not been really strong on meta for so long, people are not doing when they play it. Top lane is soloing Heralds and taking away my juice and local gold. It's okay. This lane, like, you're going to look at this and be like, okay, bot lane was really fiesta a little bit, both junglers showing up, but top lane is literally Talon's making. And against a coin flipper like Tryndamere, you know, one of those cringe champions, just giving him that ability to stat check and get level leads and run people down without thinking, you want that in your elo. You want your Tryndamere to just right click and spin to win and kill people. Right? Isn't that what you want? So give him the stats and the gold that he needs to do that. And then you can play off of his relentlessly stupid macro. By stupid, I mean most people that are playing Tryndamere are not doing proper macro. Hi, sir. Nice flash, sir. Great champion, sir. Wonderful champion. Such a good champion. Yone's probably like Gwen. He just makes people quit the game. Can't believe they released that in an article where Gwen actually made people quit the game. And I understand that champion was so absolutely disgusting. And with people saying on release, no, she's fine, no, she's fine. She was so overloaded, man. So absolutely disgusting. People just didn't know how to play her. Much better state now, obviously. They still have to buff and nerf her accordingly because she shows up all the time. We do want this Hextech Dragon, though. So we're kind of looking for an angle here. Yep. The blue trinket and the wards. Start it up so they can tank some. Javin's going to go in here. We will have to give this up. Now, I know you want to steal it. You want to blame your team. Guys, we need the objective. I do it. I'm not proud of it. I get obsessed, you know? Like, I want the objective. I have all the control. And my team just aren't ready. So the best thing you can do, give it up. Live to fight another day unless your Thresh decides he doesn't want to live this day. Okay, flash burn, he does survive. But back line. Hello, I was doing blue. You left your team alone. We burn the stopwatch / Zhonya's. We avoid the knockback from the Azir. We allow Atelier to do the backline. We finish off the Sand King. Lux is now low. Nice Q from the Talia. We have the cleanse used by the Caitlyn as well. Now Jarvis is like, can I kill someone, please? And he, of course, can. But our Talia is able to finish that off. A little bit of a micro dash there from the Talon. Don't really need the Paralysis Claw when you've got that already in your queue, right? So, yeah. In the meantime, talking about the Tryndamere that we enabled, it's always good to enable a top laner. And yes, bot lane will always end up coin flipping based upon the junglers who, beautiful CC, gank that lane. Talent just allows you to be everywhere. And again, it's simple. It's a simple concept, but if you can put out every fire in the forest, you're not gonna have forest fires. And that's the case with Talon. It just allows you to do that. And when every lane is absolutely yelling at you, it's pretty easy to take a camp, yank it, fall back to another camp, yank it again. And, you don't have those limitations that a lot of other junglers have in terms of walking around walls and so on. So here we have shield removed by the Thresh. Beautiful, beautiful. And we do our wolves into the Grump. We'll back to this. We'll snack that. Nice recall. Very pretty. Yes, of course. Talia pushes the top wave, doesn't overstay here because bot lane's resetting, Talon's resetting, which means if you push here and you're a jungler, for example, you're hard griefing, it's on you if you die, it's nothing to do with your team. And the Tryndamere now has this vision line here, we've got some beat vision here, but that's not part of the plan. Okay, bouncy. Yeah, okay. This is fun as well. Very, very fun. That was quite clean though. Quick reactions. You see, quick reactions with your E and your R and your Q can just change in nature. Like, good Talons are fun to watch in that sense. You know, it's a fun play style. The win rate again is like 49% because you can defeat it. And most people don't have the quick instincts mechanically and the quick flow on lane recognition and farming in between. It's such a tough thing for people to master. And keep your spacing here, keep your distance, and play around your cooldowns of your clips and so on. In the meantime, he's just taking this. So all we're trying to do is really stop the base and stuff. And if they go for this coin flip here, we're just gonna collapse on them. This is this is a very risky maneuver if they do decide to go for that. I mean, Tryndamere could have just stayed to end. Fate is back. Yep, they're behind the wall. The Mountain Dragon providing shadows for enemy teams around Baron. I mean, what are you guys doing? We're just going to push mid. I love this. This doesn't happen enough. They're baiting Baron. We know they're not going to be able to do it with us alive, so we're just going to push mid lane and force them to retreat. We cut them off. Can we assassinate someone here? We are able, to hit our W. We get EQ'd, and so we get Lantern to safety. But again, we've cut them off completely. Force them the long way around. I love this. Oh, here we go. Someone out of position. Doesn't matter, as he just EQs across the wall. And then we E the wall. Much easier for... But how do you end up in this situation? It was going so well. How do you end up in that situation? You just cut them off, you forced away to a crash, it's perfect. Now you can fall back and trap the Baron, right? It's exactly what we're looking to do here. Are they on the Baron? Are you not? Clear the vision though. There's no surprise if you don't clear the vision. I think this is a mistake. Ooh, Assault misses, doesn't really matter. We yeet back in. Oh, that damage. You see what I'm saying? Ghostblade. Eclipse. And, Sherilda's. The slow in Sherilda's is so nutty. It's something I actually feel like is really underrated on people. I know we talk about it a lot, and I know people build it a lot, but look at this mobility. Here we go again. And the shield and the Omnivamp really not to be... Let's have a look at the stats here, right? Damage dealt 714, so not astronomical. Damage blocked 1385. You can't see it again, but all match histories to these things are in the description. And you see that passive armor penetration, that movement speed, allows you just to get around the map with your E plus your Ghostblade so damn quickly. But that damage blocked. 222 shield. Really something huge. So... we have the active in the Gold Drinker with HP, which of course does good things, but even on champions that you typically would build it on, like Aatrox, that's his name, Aatrox, you would build it on him. Eclipse is just way better on him now, because obviously the shield block, the passive armor penetration, the movement speed, which allows you to stick targets significantly better, and the cooldown is absolutely crazy here. What is it? It's 8 seconds. Why is it only 8 seconds? I don't know. I do think the item is pretty strong. Plus Sherilda's combination here added some more magic, magic penetration, armor penetration, and pretty much you're doing true damage to squishies at this point. It's the Rengar combo, right? Rengar can go this item as well. You got your Essence Reaver, Lord Doms plus Eclipse. Same thing when you're an assassin. You get 3 items, pop goes the Weasel, as long as your mobility's good. And you just want those 3 items to be in a timely fashion. It doesn't have to be exponentially gained like this one, but you're really just looking to make sure your 3 items are equal or ahead of the enemy team, which is why First Strike can be really good, Treasure Hunter can be really good. But if you're really good at your pathing, your trapping, your patience like this, your body reads, waiting for people to commit to scenarios and then going in, like this Talon, you're seeing, look at this. Now, even if he's warded here, even if it's warded here, he can just pull the trigger and go. He's just waiting for people to show. Unfortunately, Thresh shows him an award. In Ruins, the nature of our surprise birthday party for Mr. Azir. Unlucky. You just wait for like 2 to 3 to show. Dead, push, force rotation. It's really easy to play macro when you're an assassin like this. But again, lots of patience is necessary. Too many Kha'Zixes will just rush in and die. See, now they see Talon and Thresh in the bottom side, so they're like, okay, we'll just straight up go in. Now, if there's a wave, Talon can push into the base, but obviously we're not necessarily pure tower hitters. So we're not going to get the same advantage. We kind of want to collapse on the fight before the enemy team rotates, but the enemy team does in fact rotate, so you have to call that off. And again, we're just looking for that window. Patience is the key to victory when you're playing an assassin. Did it in the Kha'Zix video too. Don't R in, don't E in when you know that you're going first and they will blow their load on you when you want to blow your load on them. Now, 2 people have to base for the inhib, which means we can go straight and we... The W slow, the Sherilda slow, and then just ult. Absolutely nutty. And obviously you can jump in with your Q. Didn't even use smite. One shot at people. Patience. Wait for the rotations. That's what you got to do with inhibs. So easy. Now they're catching. Now remember, scaling comps will get a lot of the benefit of these super waves. So you don't necessarily want to give them any of their jungle camps. If you're giving them waves just as an extension of being patient, just keep pushing them in yourself. Just keep stealing the camps. Don't let them get away with anything. What are we at now? 1638. We do have this plus this at the moment. Just because that CC could be kind of devastating in this particular situation. Edge of Night will also work. We're going to hit that. W into the Q there. We got an auto attack. We E his ult. We E back over. He's gone over the wall. I mean, he's 300 parsecs away at this stage. Here we go. Ghostblade activated. I think he's dead. And of course, that won't help you. I like that. Little stylish ult just to send a message. It's exquisite Talon gameplay, by the way. Beautiful entry points. Beautiful use of his kit. Excellent use of the E throughout the game. Excellent use of vision pathways. That's why if you're a good Talon, you can pretty much Smurf in every game. Every single game. Take the wolves. Don't waste your time if there's a whole bunch of camps to do. Just go straight into the jungle here. You are winning this game as an assassin without focusing too much on the objectives. You're just making sure they never have numbers advantage, right? Get a little bit of a shield there. Well, you can just Q ult, and apparently that's all you need to do. Woo! Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I enjoyed watching that. You know, I don't like Talon in the jungle, but he was way worse in the mid lane. The mid lane was worse because you basically have the jungle and Talon moving around the map. And that's where it was just, it's better to put him in the jungle and say, look, you know, you have a non-roaming mid now, but at least you can deal with Talon by itself. When you get Talon in the mid lane, that's super strong, with a strong invading jungler, that was so obnoxious. Don't do it, Yona. Don't do it. Well, I like that auto, just a little cheeky auto as well. The Ghostblade use, you see? You see how we use the Ghostblade not always to engage? If we have a good angle of approach for a fight, good entry point, we use our E to get in, we use our W to slow, we use that to hit our Q, and of course we can R, and then we can use our Ghostblade afterwards to get a second proc of that Q to gap close the next person, obviously have the slow and the W as well. So it's a case of using that Ghostblade as well. It's not just an automatic engage tool. I feel like if you always have to use it to engage, you're not finding the right angles. Really, you know, I don't say this a lot. I don't like watching Talon junglers, but this was a good, very, very good Talon jungle game. Well done. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. Apologies for the, you know, brain not so good at the moment. We'll be back tomorrow with another gameplay. I'm going to try and do 4 next week as well, and then I'm going to try and get back into a streaming schedule. Maybe more EU-friendly for Mondays, and then we'll go back to evenings on Tuesdays or something like that for NA. So I'll try to do that. We can do these live again. Yeah. Keep an eye out for that. I am on Twitch. You should all know my profile. Zada GG, guys. Talon should be in one of the next rotation. We'll have 20 more junglers coming within 3 weeks. Maybe 4 next week as well. So keep your eyes on Zada GG for that. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next tutorial.